finish up these notes. So if you are watching this video, hopefully you've completed through 8 on your homework sheet. Okay, so now we're ready for the word problems now that you've practiced graphing it itself. So we have the equation y is equal to negative x squared plus 4x plus 3, and that's going to represent the flying disc after it's tossed. So we're going to represent the disc's motion. So it's asking us when will it return to the ground. So we're going to make an estimate for this. We're going to graph it and estimate when it's going to return to the ground based on our graph, okay, because that's going to model its motion. So first thing I need to do to graph this is to find the vertex. So x is equal to opposite of b over 2 times a. Then we have negative 4 over negative 2, and that's going to give us 2. So then we get that x is equal to 2. So we have y is equal to negative, and then remember that negative goes on the outside of the parentheses because it's in the original problem, plus 4 times 2 plus 3. So you can go ahead and plug that into your calculator. When you do, you get 7. So my vertex then is 2, 7. So I have 2, 7, x, y. So I'm going down, going this way, going up, going this way. So now again, we need to plug in those values into our calculator. So I'm going to start by plugging in 3. So I have y is equal to negative 3 squared plus 4 times 3 plus 3. So when I plug in that 3, remember that's also the value for 1 as well. So when you plug that in, you get 6 and you get 6. Last but not least, we need to plug in 4. So we get this. So all I'm doing is wherever I see an x, I'm taking it out and I'm putting 4 in instead. And when you plug that in, you get 3 and 3 for your final answer. So there's our chart. We're going to go ahead and graph that. So my vertex is at 2, 7. So I'm going to plot that point first. I'm going over 2, up 7, and plotting that point. And then I have my axis of symmetry going down there. Next, I want to figure out when it's going to hit the ground. So I'm going to finish graphing that parabola. So then I'm going over 1, up 6, and over 3, up 6. Over 4, up 3. Over 0, up 3. So then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to graph that parabola. So when is it hitting the ground? That's what this point represents. It hits the ground when y is equal to 0. So I'm estimating that my y is equal to 0 when x is at about 5. So when will it return to the ground? I'm going to say after about 5 seconds. Because remember, in our problem, x is labeled as second. So it's hitting the ground after 5 seconds. Okay, or about that. That was just an estimate. That's all you can do with graph is estimate. All right, let's go ahead and let's take a look at number 7. So we use quadratics a lot to model maximum and minimum profit, which is what this problem is doing. So to maximize profit or minimize profit, we want to calculate the vertex. Remember, the vertex represents the maximum or the minimum. So we're going to calculate the vertex of that quadratic. So we're getting opposite of b over 2a. Now remember, when you're calculating out the vertex, you always want to simplify out the denominator first. So then you end up getting 12 divided by 1, which is just 12. So now 12 is the x coordinate on my vertex. So I'm going to plug that in for each of my x's to get the y coordinate. So then I have y is equal to 0.5 times 12 squared minus 12 times 12 plus 150. Okay, so when you plug all that into your calculator, remember I do suggest always using the parentheses that are there, you end up getting 78. So now we need to answer the part 2 questions. Whenever we're talking about the minimum cost, that comes from the y coordinate of the vertex. When we're talking about the minimum cost, it comes from the y coordinate of the vertex. So the minimum cost then is $78. How many cakes should be prepared each month to yield the minimum cost? So to get the minimum cost, that's where we look at our x value, and our x value is 12. So to minimize our costs, we need to make 12 cakes. So that concludes your second note video. Go ahead and finish up your practice sheet when you're done. Thanks for listening.